Yo, what's up guys? Sora is my homeboy here. And today doing another slightly different video than usual in that it is not a gaming video, but it's another discussion video, for something I wanted to talk about Fire Emblem Fates, and specifically about, a couple of the issues I have with, some of the S support pairings in the game. Um, I, I don't know if this video, I wouldn't say this video has spoilers per se. It does have spoilers about stupid things that shouldn't be in the game. So if that helps at all. But so yeah, if you haven't played it yet, probably shouldn't watch. But anyway, so yeah, I finished Fire Emblem Fates this week. And before I even start rambling about my issues with it, I love the game. Like, don't get me wrong, this game was fantastic in terms of story and gameplay. It blows Awakening out of the water. Like, it's so damn good, and I enjoyed every second of it. But I have two major issues involving S support marriage ish things in this game. And for reference, I have Birthright. I haven't played Conquest yet. I hope to play it at some point. But so I've only played Birthright. But basically, so as many of you probably know, this game introduced gay marriage. So there are a couple pairings in the game. There's one that's female female, and there's one that's male male. Well, the male male one is in Conquest, but in the Fate series collectively, there are two gay marriage options, and that's cool. Like, that's really great that we're finally getting that. And yeah, awesome. But the thing is, like, the character choices for who you can pair with are not the best in my opinion. Now, I actually I can't speak to the male male pairing because I don't know anything about it. I haven't played that game yet. But in excuse me, Birthright, gotta get this straight or it's not gonna make any sense. In Birthright, the pairing between female Corrin and Rajat is the female female pairing, and it's like, I don't have a huge issue with it, and I have to admit, like, I haven't seen every single conversation. I only watched the actual S one where they get married and confess to each other and stuff. But I don't know, they just don't seem to have a lot of character chemistry, to be honest. And my main thing is, like, there are better characters she could have paired with. Like, that's fine that that's a pairing in the game, but like, I wish we had more options. Like, my main thing is Azura. Like, if we're talking about, like, the female pairings that Corrin should actually be able to marry, like, Corrin and Azura are fantastic together. Like, one, they're just adorable together. I just like, that's my favorite pairing. But even just from a character standpoint, like, they have so much chemistry. Their personalities and just like the way the story is told and the roles they have in each other's stories, they have great chemistry, and that would have been a fantastic pairing. And it's kind of frustrating that it's not, because it's like, compared to all of the other female options in the game, like, Rajat just like doesn't have the chemistry with Corrin that a lot of the other characters do. I don't know. It just feels weird to me. Um, but I don't know. So that kind of bummed me out a little bit, especially since, like, we could have had more than one. And apparently, someone over on DeviantArt, my friend Greg, was telling me that Azura was supposed to be the female option originally, and that actually the male one was different too. Instead of Niles, Silas was supposed to be the male option, and they, for whatever reason, changed it. I don't really know why. It's kind of like, in Awakening. Fun fact, for those of you that didn't know, we were actually supposed to have gay marriage back in Awakening. Lissa and Maribel were supposed to be able to S support with each other, which kind of explains the relationship they have in that game anyway. And then they took it out for reasons. No one really knows why. I don't know why they took it out of the game in the final version, but they did. And it feels kind of like that, where it's like, you had Azura and Silas as the gay marriage options and then changed them. Why? Like, it's not an issue to make decisions like that and change things, but they have to make sense, and I want to know the reason why. Like, why can't female Corrin marry Azura? Tell me why. Tell me why. Anyway, so that's the main thing. But the other issue I have is bigger than that. That one's just kind of one of those things where it's like, oh, that would have been really nice, and I wish it was that way, but I guess it's not. But my other issue is, so in the whole setup for Fates, for those of you that don't know, the whole setup is that there are two kingdoms. You have Nor and Hoshido, and you grew up in Nor. Corrin grew up in Nor her whole life, or his if you're playing the male one. I'm just gonna say she because I like female Corrin better, but just know that I'm referring to the Avatar character in general. You grew up in Nor, and so they're like your family, but you find out early on in the game that you're not related to them by blood. You're actually related to Hoshido by blood. And so they're like your real family, quote unquote. And so then you have to pick a side and you have to decide because the kingdoms are warring with each other. And you have to decide, am I going to like side with the people that have raised me basically and that I view as my brothers and sisters, or the ones who actually are by blood. And that's the difference between birthright and conquest. So I have birthright where you side with Hoshido, who are your blood relatives, related by blood. And I was playing through the game, and like when you go to the support conversation section of the game, you can see who your marriage options are because it tells you the letter that you can get to with each character. And I was looking, and some of the S support options were Corin's brothers. And I was like, wait a minute, wait a minute. Am I understanding something about the story wrong? Like, did I miss something and they're not actually related? Because I was pretty sure it said that we were related by blood. Like, these are my brothers, right? And then I was like, is there incest in this game? Like, I don't think they're going down that route, but like this looks like an incest thing, and I don't really know how else to explain it. So that was totally throwing me off. So I went and watched like the support conversations on YouTube. There are only a few up right now, but I watched one of the support conversations with one of your brothers just to see like what the heck is going on and how they handle that. So it turns out that apparently you're not actually related to them by blood either. You fall in love with each other through like the CBA support conversations. You get closer and you have feelings for this person who's your brother. And then when you get to the S support conversation, he hands you a letter and he's like, "Okay, like I'm in love with you and you should probably read this." And it says like when Corin was little, they found her and took her in and raised her, but she's not actually related to them. And it's like, okay, one, the pairing is still weird. Like, you fell in love with him thinking he was your brother. Okay, so there's that. Like, you didn't know he wasn't your brother until he told you. And two, like that defeats the whole purpose of the plot. Like, the whole thing that Fates is built on is blood family versus whatever term you would use, like people you view as family that you're not actually related to. Like that's what the whole story is founded on. And then they just throw that out the window for a couple more S support options. Like that's a really really poor choice in terms of like game design and story writing. Like no, it's almost like the bullshit they pulled in Awakening, where like spoilers for that game too. Just saying, in that game, like you have M die and you have Gangrel die and all these people, and then they can come back and join your army, and they have this like weird explanation for why they're not actually dead, and it's like that defeats like everything in the story that was supposed to happen. It's just it's so frustrating because it's like we didn't need that. Okay, there are lots of people to marry in this game if that's what you're concerned about. Like there are plenty of people that you can marry. You did not need to change and ruin, in my opinion, the entire story just for a couple more S supports. So those are my main issues. Like the first one with Azura is mostly a personal thing. Like it makes way more sense for Corin to have like pairings with other people, but it's not a huge deal. Like it just kind of stings. But this like actually upsets me because it's like uh I don't know. I don't want to repeat myself. I'm just saying like it's a really really poor story choice. And I don't want that to like ruin the whole game for me because it's one tiny thing that I can like try to ignore if I want to. And I really did love the game overall and the story was great. But it's just one of those things where it's like, why did this need to be in there? Like Nintendo, I don't understand your choices sometimes. Like why did this need to be in there? So that's all I wanted to talk about. Then just like spew all of my thoughts at you. I don't know if I'll actually do a full review of the game later, cause like my review of it would basically be me gushing about all the things I loved. I mean, there are things that I also would critique and have issues with. But I don't know. I might be too lazy to actually do that. But I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I'll review it in detail later. But for now, I just wanted to discuss these couple things with you. But feel free to share your thoughts below on this if you've already played the games. Or have thoughts on this. But thank you guys so much for watching. Give a like and comment if you enjoyed the video and leave your thoughts below. And thank you for watching, guys. See you later.